What is up, guys? Welcome to another video, and today we're here because Ghost decided to release a under the hood article on the handling model straight after I made a video on the handling model. Isn't that fantastic? Before we continue in this video, I have merch. Buy my merch. I never do this in videos, but you should buy my merch because I need money. More about that at the end. I actually don't even know if there's any available left when I've just said that. We'll talk about that at the end. Well, let's talk about the handling because this is important. We're going to go and run through the under the hood article, which is pretty long, and give some opinions on it. Obviously, I've already played with the handling and stuff. There's some stuff in here that we didn't already know previously. Obviously, in the Gamescom build, we didn't have access to the live tuning or any of the performance upgrades. But anyway, we're going to talk about it as we're going along. We're going to kind of go through it together, and we're going to talk about it, give some opinions, etc., etc. So let's do this. The handling model in the Need for Speed series has always been aimed towards a arcade style of driving, with the exception of the Shift series. At the core of the handling model has been the ability to pull off huge drifts at high speeds, while also battling the cops, outrunning your opponents, and constantly having to avoid oncoming traffic. Don't know how true that is. I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true, but I get what your point is. It's high octane racing. It's one particular side effect of allowing vehicles to pull off drifts is that this also becomes the only way to negotiate corners if you want to set the fastest time on an event, which is of course not how real life driving works. Yep, nothing to really say there, really, unless you want to be a nitpicky snook. There's probably going to be some people in the comments like, well, drifting in some scenarios, like in mountain passes in Japan, on a weed. Even though this handling model has been generally received well by most of the community, there's basically the annoying people like us that have been complaining is basically what that's saying, and you know what, they are completely right, and I'm not apologizing, because you know what, things needed to change, and I'm happy they're changing. And it's also nice that they're also kind of atting us in this under the hood article. It's a bit mad that our voice is being heard to that level. Like, I never thought there'd be a time where I would see brake to drift mentioned in an under the hood article. That's insane. They then go on to say that they've actually sorted this in a number of ways. So the stock car you're going to get is going to be like a non-optimal version of that car, but still fun to drive. So it will be quite heavy on brake to drift. In the actual article, they've said that for example, a car might have a more powerful engine but still has like stock tires or a gearbox. This then allows the player to tune their cars away from the more balanced stock handling, which skilled players might find too easy and arcade, towards a more realistic grip handling or drift handling, depending on what you prefer. Now, I want to stop this here because there's a little bit to say before we carry on going forward. I reckon the stuff that we played at Gamescom was a stock build. It didn't feel necessarily, you know, overly drift or whatever. It felt quite stock, like, is from the way that they're explaining stock. The grip R35 that you might have seen is one example of how grip really changed the car. Like, that car was much more grippy, and you could really tell. And I just wanted to quickly say that before we go any further. There is still things that I think need to be sorted. Again, I'm going to keep my opinions for the end. We're going to carry on going through this, and we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff at the end, so stay tuned. We have also worked with the drift mechanic, and especially the so-called brake to drift, that old chestnut. We wanted to allow experienced and dedicated players to build a car, tuning it closer to real-world expectations and being able to beat someone who has left their car completely stock. They're saying everything that I think the hardcore fan base wants to hear, basically. Like, those words have meaning to me because of what I've seen so far with the game and how much effort's been put into the other sides of it. But again, I'm going to talk about all about that at the end. I don't want to, like, mix up the opinions. But just the mere fact they're even saying any of this is a bit insane. They then go on to say that this has meant that we've had to rework and balance everything from the steering, differential, clutch, brake bias, all the way to the tire model itself. Who thought that Need for Speed even had a tire model to begin with? Drifting has also been reworked to allow players to use the power of the engine to get the car into a slide by stabbing the throttle while steering hard, otherwise known as the clutch kick. I've already talked about this in the other video. Again, I'm going to link lots of videos in the corners and stuff about the clutch kick, explaining the physics and stuff. Again, from what I've played so far at Gamescom, which I think is a stock build from what I've been, like, from what I can understand here, it is an improvement. It's a huge improvement, but it's not a completely new handling model. They mentioned in one of the first posts that this is a completely new handling model. I don't think so. I think it's just a revised version of what we've already seen, and from the way they've even worded it, in this article, it doesn't sound like it's a completely new handling model. It just sounds like it's a reworked handling model. And I still believe that. I still think that. And I just want to make that abundantly clear as we're going forward. Anyway, they then go on to talk about the brake bias and how you can actually change how the weight is transferred into the front wheels or the rear wheels. Obviously, depending on where you change it will make it more grippy or more drift. Now I'm going to quickly go over the rest. I'm not going to like completely just go over every single little part. I'm just going to go over the bullet points. So these are the quick bullet points for the rest of the article. They've then said that brake to drift is theoretically slower than actually driving like grip in this game. Need for Speed Heat will have several parts in 3 distinct categories that specifically change the performance, suspension, differential, and tires. They then go on to say that they're going to talk more about performance customization in an upcoming Under the Hood article, so go ahead, stay tuned,
subscribe,
buy my merch, because I've got merch. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Furthermore, they then go on to say that you can tune your cars to race, drift, off-road, or road. So it's quite nice that there's race and drift. Off-road, I guess, is here to stay. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a fan of off-road. I really don't like it. I don't think it has a place in Need for Speed, and that hasn't changed for a while. But it's there, sadly. And then road, which I'm assuming is more kind of like of a pursuit. But then also, if you just want to drive around and don't want something which is awfully grippy and understeery, you go for road. Anyway, we're going to carry on talking about it. They then go on to say that you can turn all types of vehicles into capable drift machines. But with drift cars, they have gone on to say that instead of clutch kicking, the car will just go into a drift by steering at the extreme levels of drifting, which is really nice to see. Hopefully that involves some type of counter steer. It's kind of nice to know that, like, it just sounds like there's a lot more improvements going on to the handling. I wish they showed something off with this that gave visual representation of everything they're saying, because it does sound really cool, but it's just really nice having a visual representation of that. They then go on to say, for the first time in Need for Speed history, players can control the angle of a drift via the throttle, which is exciting. That's really, really exciting stuff. Like, I don't think people are going to really get as excited as they should about that, because that is genuinely like, oh, that's so exciting. Imagine like you put too much throttle in and you take a spin. That's what I want to see. You know what they should have put? They should have put, you can spin out in this game. That's what they should have said. But obviously we won't know till launch, but that's what they should have said right there. If that's possible, they should have said you can spin out. I hope you can spin out in this game. That'll be fantastic. Wait, I'm retarded. I'm so retarded. They've literally said it in the next line, and I just haven't read it. Oh my god. Oh my god! Right, well, apparently they've said that apparently you can spin out. Oh my god, I didn't even know that, man. Feather the throttle to control a drift. They're actually saying everything I want to hear. Yeah, and that's basically it. All the other stuff's kind of self-explanatory. Off-road helps you go off-road. Easier. Race and drift to help you race and drift. They said that the race like option in the tuning stuff will not allow you to drift whatsoever, which is something that we're gonna have to see on launch. I hope it isn't understeery like Need for Speed 2015 is. But that's it from this video. How exciting. My opinions, this is the opinions portion, and I hope no one's clicked off because I've got some things to say. Very, very promising. I think this is very, very promising. I think it's going to be really interesting to play in game. I'm very interested to see how it all plays out when you're tuning, you know, if you can still have a competitive drift car, if you can't. It's all stuff which we're not going to know till launch, which is really shit because the game's not coming out for another few months. They're just saying everything that I want to hear, basically. Which I can't fault because it's everything I want to hear. Treading lightly because of their past, you know, their track record, which I think everyone should do. I think everyone that is interested in Need for Speed Heat should tread cautiously because Ghost, like I've said it before and I'll say it again, you know, they've had a shaky history, but so far everything they've said sounds promising and I can't wait to hear more. Thank you if you made it this far into the video. You are like the 10% that get it to the last 13 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever this is. So if you could hit the like, subscribe would mean a lot for me. I'm also just going to quickly talk about this. I actually don't know if there's any available left now because I think they might have all sold out, but I've got merch. I've been making merch. This isn't going to be the only stuff, so if you don't manage to get this, you know, keep an eye out to the screets. There's going to be some more stuff probably next month or the month after. But yeah, I've tried to make it as affordable as possible. It's just got the Hippo logo and like a little thing in the new undefeated font, which I'll talk about more in the future. I've tried to make it as affordable as possible. I'm honestly not making much off these hoodies. It's just something that I wanted to, you know, share with you guys because I've never done this before. It's really, really cool for me, like, to do this. But yeah, it's down in the description. If you miss it, don't worry. I'm gonna be dropping new stickers into my store as well as some more clothes stuff in the future. So just stay tuned to my socials. That's been it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit the like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. You guys stay safe and peace.